dino character help us out. Freaking originally this thumbnail for the art streams was the Far Cry Primal one. All I did was I added a little dino going on the Arc one, and I added a mammoth on the Primal one. Basically the same thumbnail. I didn't know. Drain this needs a bit, and then we'll move our pain shit. Harvester mounts. Dino harvesting damage. So big. Pardon me. 19. Don't need all that junk code. Whose thing was that? I think it was someone's. Right, bear with me a moment. There you are.
Don't have many hits to touch as well. No. Well, they're not stupid. You reverse so slowly. You ripped like your fucking gut. Turn yourself into a bullet. You're cold, you're hot, you're cold, fuck off. not. Because you're full of strength. Look how much fucking flint of ink is you got on it. Far too fucking much. That's a decent amount, so. Don't need fucking smash. Ah, it was just a foundation in here. Right. How much metal? Stone, please. Stone. Here's the markers as well, so you can hit for sleep. Oh, so there's a front attack. There's pointed to the side. Yeah. That'll do. Give me all your stone. Don't need all this flint, I need the stone. transport these. There isn't. I forgot, yeah, the mic's not in my ear, it's on the keyboard.
Perception fly that high, and neither does this game. Once traps begin appearing, if you don't move with searching, you will step on one and go to the hurt locker. There aren't instant kill ones as far as I can tell, but they could shoot arrows into you, maim you, teleport you, or drop you down a floor. Sometimes the stars align, like you're being chased and you drop down a floor and great, a free level I went down. But if the game decides it, there might be fall damage, and it is an instant death trap if your health is low enough. Eventually I just stopped searching for traps and let Jesus take the wheel, because one time I saw the stairs you have to go down were trapped. A fall trap that sent my kneecaps out like racquetballs. So you know what, if the Dungeon Lord is also Kevin McAllister and can tripwire the stairs, I'm not searching anymore. Any trap will hit me and I welcome it. And don't say just searching at the stairs, because eventually every tile is near the stairs in your brain. His stair trickery is so strong, it sometimes becomes a borderline Gygas attack you can't comprehend. Like here, I'm going up the stairs, but there's a trapdoor right next to it, so I fall back down a floor. Next to a different staircase, I go back up, then I fell again and was murdered by griffins. It's just part of life. Sometimes things are going great and a bus hits you. You could play every movement extremely carefully, but I don't have that in me. This is what Rogue is all about, weighing caution and planning against RNG. I could spend search actions on the floor, but what are the chances there's a fall trap there? And what are the chances it happens again 4 seconds later? Fuck. Still, Rogue is also very mechanically rich, more than you might think by looking at it. Some of the quick commands that make no sense might start to the farther you get into the game. Like with one of the more awful early enemies, Aquators. From context clues, they seem like some kind of water elemental, and they're very good at rusting your armor. Permanently. Every successful hit melts the protection away. Now, think back to cursed items. You could have armor drained to nothing that you can't replace until you lift the curse. You could have 5 better sets of armor on you that you can't use, or you found a great set and one bad fight with an Aquator makes it near useless. Look, how neat, I found an enhanced armor scroll. Just name that enhanced armor to remember it. Immediate Aquator. It zaps away that buff scroll's help and sends my armor down to 1. It sucks, but if I had been quicker and had an armor on me that it couldn't rust, like leather, I could have changed to that. Or just use the takeoff armor hotkey. The fight would be more dangerous, but my equipment would be safe. That's thinking Rogue. At its core, the levels are randomly generated, but your items are in the same category. Like in my very first game, I found the scroll of... That doesn't seem good. But every scroll, including identify... In my very first game, I found the scroll of... That doesn't seem good. But every scroll, including identify scrolls, I would have to read blindly to see what they did, and then I can name them. The same goes for potions. If you can't identify them, you have to have a little sip. It could be useful, or a sludge that makes you sick, but all the colors and textures will mix up in the next game. The magenta potion used to enhance your weapon, now it causes paralysis. You might use a scroll and it says somebody's watching over you, or you hear mysterious laughter. So you also find out what some of these effects do by playing the game. You sometimes have to guess or experiment to figure things out. Collecting and understanding the items gives you a huge advantage in a run. Scrolls can detect monsters or reveal an entire floor. It could enhance your weapon beyond time and space, but if you do it twice, your weapon vaporizes. Some benefits will be extremely obvious, others are head scratchers. Scrolls and potions are reliable once you understand them, but magic weapons like wands can be tricky. Something simple like a light staff can be reliable, but combat magic is a different story. A good failure is when a magic missile just vanishes in a puff of smoke. A bad failure is polymorphing a centaur and getting a dragon instead. And then it instantly rips your face off. That's no good, but you can kill an enemy with magic not fully understanding what happened, and that is pretty cool. As you progress, your rank increases, and you get more HP. You understand more items. Instead of drinking the bad potion, you throw it in the griffin's eyeballs. Items that just seemed like middle fingers to you can sometimes be turned around in your favor. Or you can roll the dice, read the unknown scroll, throw the potion at someone. Maybe it hurts them, or it could make their attacks cause confusion, or you just level them up. It is a lot of fun to experiment, but the real genius is the time pressure. Rogue's deadliest enemy is starvation. If you don't eat enough food, first your character feels weak, and will then begin fainting, including in combat. It is a long process, and more likely you die blacking out in the middle of a fight than anything else, but you can absolutely starve. It's a death timer. What this does is make you juggle 3 different things. You want to go down and get the amulet, but the enemies will get more dangerous. Killing enemies gives you XP, ranks you up, and makes you stronger. Exploring and finding new items gives you more tools to work with. But the more time you spend exploring every inch of a level and not going down, that's the greater the risk of starving. In one run, I fought the rattlesnakes from hell who permanently lower your strength, and it actually caused some kind of error where my strength got so low it reset to being at the highest, but I didn't account for food well, and that character starved. You have to weigh the risk of making a stronger character versus the risk of not having supplies. It's a good idea that keeps the runs compelling, but sometimes you just have shit luck. You have a run where you never find food or any good equipment, you stumble on a nightmare monster room, on level 2. A map can look like it has a secret door that won't appear no matter how many times you search it. You can investigate every corner of a tiny room and there appears to be no way out. The level has chosen death for you, or you keep searching every tiny pixel hoping. In one run, you find a clever new way to fight an enemy, in another, you slowly die in Buffalo Bill's fun pit. There is skill involved in doing better, but you're absolutely at the mercy of RNG. Your only real cross-run upgrade is the knowledge that you pick up, like how enemies behave or what certain effects do. The biggest difference copies would have is who's on the scoreboard, a combination of how far you got with the amulet, and gold. Yeah, gold isn't used for a shop or unlocks or anything, really. It's just pure score. How much you care about score will also affect how much you hate the leprechaun. He's not after your life, just your pockets. So the second he hits you, he swipes some credit card balance and vanishes. He gets a nice dinner, I go back to the Ratlin Bog with a 490 credit score. If you don't give a shit about score, he doesn't matter much, but somewhere, you know there were friends hot-seating this game who would start screaming when he showed up. Sure, I could shrug off the actual single hit, but no. He's not leaving the hood on my watch. So how about that amulet? Well, the first time I ever got it, I kept going deeper, forgetting that, oh yeah, you want to go back to the surface. Which, to its credit, it does generate new levels, but going back, the enemies do get easier. It doesn't start spawning the most professional killers on earlier levels, it just lets you progress backwards. Yet another reason starving is your biggest enemy. You don't want to die that way after all that, but with enough time and patience and a lot of luck, you can make it. You pawn all your stuff and are just now admitted to the Fighters Guild. That seems fucking steep. This is being overqualified. Admitted to the Fighters Guild. That seems fucking steep. This is being overqualified. So even though the semantics are borderline meaningless now, here's some things to think about if you see people typing fast and breathing heavy over roguelike versus roguelite. Most people pull up permadeath or procedural levels, but the game being turn-based is very core to it, even if gameplay doesn't always look like that. How about inventory management and survival mechanics? The game has a hunger meter, and sometimes you do have to decide between getting more food or getting a great weapon. If you have a goal and can win, you don't just have to endure the game forever. But I guess if you want to, you could keep going deeper. And finally, no meta progression. You don't need to unlock a new spaceship or whatever else. You always start on an even playing field, which is good in such an uneven game. It is neat to see how well it's held up in a lot of ways, but if you were interested in what this game does right, there's still a lot that does it better. And I don't mean something graphically crazy, I mean something like Dungeon Crawl Stone Soup. Games that can triple down on mechanics, but don't have much for visuals. So that's Rogue. It spearheaded genres we hear about non-stop, mainly argued about by people who never played it, or even seen it before. But now you have. It's an important game that didn't need much of a story. So next time, we'll dive into something a little more narrative-heavy. I finally read Alien's Labyrinth, and it was weird and horrifying. Are there others just as insane? That one is pretty up there, but if you want the same feeling but stupid, I would recommend Alien Harvest. There's an alien robot named Norbert, and for your book club homework, please tell me what a thief plan is. Will there ever be another Q&A video? These are the Q&A videos. I've got too much catching up to do, and this is more about the games anyways. Am I a Madness Combat guy? Yes. I have a story about that I'll tell in the Project Nexus video this year. And I'm saying that immediately after the no Q&A thing in games. Instead of phobia reduction settings, should we have phobia addition settings? I think there's a really good idea in there. I know the game Until Dawn tried something like that, but it was pretty obvious. But I don't know how to put it. The guy asks, like, what are you scared of, and that's what shows up. But a game having a settings menu that makes different things scuffed? I feel like there's something to that. Not entirely sure how that would play out, but someone out there might figure it out.
Exquisite features.
Hi, Neil Kaplan.
I'm sorry.
Pardon, mate. And again. Hate that I have to use pillars. Why can't I just defy the laws of physics? badgers. Organising the bollocks. Faye.
I'm sorry, but I need to talk about Highguard. I was deep in the throes of the Mass Effect video, and despite my insistence that I continue working on that one, I just couldn't shake the thought of Highguard. Yes, Highguard, the brand new PvP shooter, base defense, competitive team game, Highguard. The reason I felt like it was so important to talk about this game is because I was having such a hard time finding anyone who was talking about the actual specifics of the game's launch, as well as the discussions around it by Wildlight Studios, the team who made Highguard. Then I noticed immediately, only a few weeks after its launch, a large amount of the team at Wildlight was laid off, and I said, that's it! I'm making a video about goddamn Highguard. Because while I think that there have been some people who have given the game an honest shot, there have been some folks who have genuinely went into the game without bias and saw how it plays. I don't think many of them have done so with the forethought of what the game was supposed to be, or what the original plan was before it was then ceremoniously or unceremoniously thrust at the end of the Game Awards. Highguard is a really weird situation. One where on paper, it seems like every decision made had some merit or skill behind it, but all ended up to form something that was either out of time or out of place. One of the better examples of maybe a good decision at a high level undermined by a bad decision or a lot of uncertain execution. I will preface this very much so by saying this video is going to be a bit against the grain. Not everything I say here will be the most popular of statements, so prepare for that. But first, a word from Gamer Sups, the company caffeine-free gamer things to and more.
Get on with it.
Move forward with things.
Fuck's sake.
Russian Badger. Bricky for 10% off
Chris,
your
how long is this going on for?
order. Thank you for sponsoring the video. Now, back to Highguard. Now, firstly, I'm sure you're wondering what a Highguard is if you've never ended up playing it. Many of you have heard the game, but has been somewhat confused by what it actually is. What a game of High Guard looks like is a combination of Apex Legends, CSGO, and honestly a lot more paladins than you'd expect. You start out by picking a warden, which is...
Bruh. Fucking full screen comment section. When you're trying to type in a comment, it randomly deselects the comment box, so now all the video commands start triggering. So if you press T, you suddenly go to theatre mode. If you press I, you suddenly go back to the fucking menu. But no, don't deselect the comment box. I'm typing a comment. Sponsor or sponsor? Anyway.
One of the many hero type characters in the game. You then choose a style of base, and then you begin a gearing up phase, which involves reinforcing your base and then venturing out to get as much gear as you can from the map. Now, if you're familiar with Apex, then you will be very familiar with the gear system of the game. With armor, munitions, weapons, and utilities, they all run around with a similar gray, blue, purple, orange type thing. They have their own effects, they have their own upgrades, etc. As you would expect. Then, after you're geared up, you will fire over something called the Shield Breaker. Huge sword that is used to break into your opponent's face. Once broken into, you begin the raid, and a bunch of really skilled Korean guys start beating the shit out of you. I hope it's Korean and not Japanese. We'll find out.
Indonesian.
This is where the game becomes CSGO. The attacking players receive limited lives and attempt to plant a bomb on one of 3 objectives. The 2 side objectives need to both be destroyed to win, or the middle one can be destroyed by itself to win, but it takes much longer and it's easier to defend. Now, if the team runs out of lives, you return back to the original starting world, and you do it over again, just this time with better loot options. So when I say the game is a mix of a lot of things at once, that is absolutely the case. It has a hero shooter aspect to its characters, it has CSGO style bomb planting and defusing as an endgame, and the actual gunplay, UI, armor is very much Apex Legends. Now, if you're watching this video, you are, there might be 2 things you're here for. Either a genuine review of High Guard, or discussion on the development and the things surrounding High Guard, and whether or not Jeff Keighley is going in the company death note held in the back room of Wildlight Entertainment. I plan to provide you with all of that, but it's going to be a bit intertwined between itself, so that will require me to work really hard on my transitions. So Wildlight has been extremely
I cannot place you there.
So finding specific details is relatively difficult. Now, I have been a Titanfall fan for a long while. I played a lot of Apex in the beginning, so while I do have some contacts at Wildlight, or people who know at Wildlight, I do obviously want to keep most of that as just sort of like hearsay, and kind of try to go with most stuff that's been said actually publicly online. What can be found is that the studio was developed in 2021 officially, and their company was made fully public on what they were working on in 2023 based on a post from Chad Greener on their Twitter account. Now, Chad was the game director on Apex and also the game director on High Guard. Now, they're a team of about 100 people, and according to Dusty Welch, who was their founder, CEO, about 60 of the 100 were from the Titanfall or Apex team, and had left Respawn prior. Now, the team being so secretive on the project was 100% on purpose. They wanted to be tight-lipped about everything, and treat it much like they treated Apex. The entire foundation of High Guard was personified by the idea of low and slow. It was a test of a new IP, and much like with Apex, they wanted it to start getting its footing and feedback from players over time to allow it to form into what they wanted it to be. Now, you may or may not remember this, but Apex Legends was a complete shadow drop. EA and Respawn just started a stream with a bunch of static map images of the game, and then like an hour in, played a trailer, announced the title, and a whole bunch of major FPS streamers and folks began to sponsor streaming with others. Now, this worked wonders for the game. Obviously not being Titanfall 3, myself. But we weren't quite in Battle Royale fatigue yet, and it was doing something rather new and completely different. Having modern, fluid shooting controls, which its competition did not have. You can see High Guard taking a super similar approach to everything, with the exception announcement. They were completely radio silent all the way up to the game's launch.
Much better looking, far less unsightly.
And it was available to play. Now, in doing research for this video,
Hello.
one of the most fascinating things I saw was discussion on the development of the game, because the design philosophy and initial bits for this game really makes sense on paper. To begin, Wildlight's goal was to always make a shooter. The team are shooter fans. They've worked on shooters. They love shooters. It was always going to be a competitive shooter. That was the goal from day one. And they do not believe in the idea of fatigue in the confines of a multiplayer shooter. They believe that the end product is a game that is truly unique in style.
I need advice. Which arc should I play if I have a... i7-137000HX RTX 4060 32GB RAM laptop.
I don't fucking know. I'm not some tech brain nerd. I have no fucking clue when it comes to, like, oh, you need this to have the best specs. Makes my brain turn to pudding. Yeah, because I don't know that bollocks. I have no fucking clue. Out of keys.
Oh, you're playing on a console?
Yeah, I'm playing on PS4. I mean, if you look at the taskbar, you can see PlayStation controls. Because I can't stream on PC, I can only stream from my PS4. He's needing more stone. Fucking eggs. You got stone on you? No, we got a fuck ton of wood. Right, yeah, you can't harvest and stuff. Fuck ton of wood. You got a fuck ton of berries on you. So many stimberries. You can have all the yellow berries. You can have all the blue ones.
Disagree a little bit with the genre viability, but I can disagree with the idea that their end product is truly unique in style. It may be a hodgepodge of a bunch of things together, but there is nothing else that plays like this game. Now, Respawn, the idea of doing a non-Apex game was impossible, and they were locked into its success. But a new studio meant they could do things from scratch, especially with a new IP. They wanted to do something different than Apex, elites, and this was the way to go about it. Development for this game was geared to the fact that they wouldn't know the audience until after the release. So with the experience of the Apex release timeline in mind, they built Highguard so that it has a year's worth of content ready to go upon release. That way, the focus can be on hotfixes and patches while the content is explored in real time so they can assess feedback as the game and its subsequent updates come out. Now originally, the game was going to include a much higher combat. At one point, the matches included 8-player teams, and then that was whittled down to 6-6, 5-5, 4-4, and finally 3. The size of the maps remained mostly the same throughout, even with the removal of those players, because the idea was that the players could then gear up without fear of immediate enemy pressure. Mounts were not originally part of the game, but then they were added for convenience sake. Another early design idea for the game was the base building aspect to it, but this was also scrapped. And other early things were scrapped too, and they might be added to future episodes. Now, the team embraced the concept of something more fantasy-like for the game's aesthetic because it offered a more unique theme. To quote, "We like guns that feel and sound real and meaty and shoot real bullets." So we started there. And then we didn't want to make sci-fi for our whole lives. The tech in the world they described as World War I plus plus. They didn't want any magic wands or magic powers that came from the hands of the player, as this would take away from guns. They wanted it to be meaty, shooting with some occasional sparkle powers in there for usage. Though the goal was to make a more unique shooting experience with a lot of attention to the game modes and map exploration, the game ended up becoming a hero shooter anyways. Now, lead designer Carlos Pineda acknowledges that people don't really like heroes, but they, quote, make the game better, and that's really the important part, unquote. So, I really want to break this down because I think it's super important. I don't think any part of the lineup of decisions that were made in the production of Highguard was in a vacuum wrong. Wildlight is made up of shooter veterans who have spent most of their careers working on shooter games. This is something that I am very aware of. They believe in a competitive shooter and wanted to make one, and that part of Highguard is admittedly very, very good. The actual shooting in the game feels fantastic. The reload animations for all the weapons look great. The movement and gunplay moment to moment is easily Highguard's best attribute. Despite all of the shade we might throw at a game like Apex for monetization and balance decisions and the like, the gunplay of Apex, and especially of Titanfall, is excellent. And it is very clear that Wildlight is great at doing exactly this kind of content. The thing is, Wildlight is made up of developers from a very specific era of gaming, and that was the competitive shooters era of the mid-2000s and on. These are developers that grew up on games like Counter-Strike and other intense shooters, and therefore there is a paramount focus on one thing, and that is the clarity of gameplay and visuals. And if not that, extreme balance. Clarity of gameplay is something you see lost in a game like Valorant, for example. If there is a backdrop or an environment that will cause an enemy to not be perfectly visible and outlined against it, they will remove or change that backdrop. If a move provides just a little too much visual clutter, it will be toned down. Gameplay is king at all times, and because of that, great lengths are taken to make sure that clarity is maintained, and most importantly, fair. Fair is the key word. Now, I'm not saying the word fun. Fun is assumed automatic. It's assumed that the game is always fun, but a lot of focus appears to be on the game being fair. As I mentioned before, the gameplay is actually pretty good in Highguard. But you know what isn't good in Highguard? The team size and the map size. One of the biggest issues is that 3v3 is straight up not the right count for this game in this environment. When you get to the base defense, it gets a bit closer, but not as close as it should be. So what happens is that you end up with these huge maps where absolutely nothing happens because it's only 3 players on each team. So it's insanely dull until you find someone, and that normally only happens when it's time to fight over the shield breaker. But why 3 players? Probably because it was the most fair. Like I said before, the game originally had 8 players and was whittled down with mounts added because they wanted players to be able to move up without getting pounced on by a squad, which, to make everyone feel like they have a fair shot, makes sense from a balance perspective, but the result is that it becomes slower and duller. I also noticed that there's the resource mechanic in the game to mine crystals to buy stuff from the shop. Now, I imagine a similar situation was there, where if you were, say, unfairly pounced on, or you weren't able to gear up, you could at least back up, farm a little bit to buy the stuff in the shop you need, while everyone else is out there fighting. Now, I do agree, if this game was back at 8 players, there's a chance that some members of the team get beaten early and struggle to recover, leading to a bad experience. 3v3 is undoubtedly more fair in that scenario, but it is also far less fun. They also talked about base building in the game too, and that is an aspect of Highguard that is also rather underbaked. They said they had plans for stuff that was more involved and scrapped it, and I think you can see it on display here. Wardens have things that interact with the base, and I won't deny that actually blowing open a wall to attack people is kind of fun. But at the start of the game, all you do is reinforce walls, and even that doesn't quite make a difference at all. Base building would, I think, create a really new dynamic to the game, adding things like traps, turrets, mountable things, and more. And I can see a real way where that could have worked like that, but of course doing stuff like that players would be hellish, because having one guy on a mounted gun be able to take down a whole team would make for a huge feels bad moment. Same with stepping on a trap. So for the sake of fairness, I imagine it was removed. The part where they pivot to heroes is actually really fascinating to me, because they flat out state that they understand that heroes are not a very popular thing nowadays. But they did it anyway, because it made more sense for the game. I assume, much like before, that it was for the sake of balance. If people chose heroes, that means that people wouldn't double up on abilities or ultimates that could create unfair things for the enemy. If heroes are in your game, then that means if one of them is busted, you can't spam them, which mitigates the effects of that mismatched balance. This is really old school, but in Titanfall 1, you can customize your Titan a lot more. You can choose the gun and the special gear for it and which kind of chassis, but because of that, it kind of made really only like 1 or 2 Titans the best Titans in the game. It became kind of ridiculous. Actually, people miss the Titan customization in Titanfall 2, but in the second game, they turned Titans almost like heroes in a way, with static hits, because in that way, you couldn't take all the open stuff and mix it together. Titanfall 2 still has Monarch and Stick and Car, but, you know, they did the best. But to that point, every single choice in Highgarm feels like it was a choice made in reaction to an issue with another section of the game. People need time looting and have a chance, so reduce the player count. Now there's too few players, so we need mounts. The shield breaker with a mount is too fast, so we gotta do teleport to catch up with them. Abilities were too powerful, so lock them behind heroes. I don't think this is exactly how it went down, obviously, I'm not omnipotent, but it does appear that that is what ended up with. The thing that really messes me up is that I don't really mind Highguard. It isn't my cup of tea for the most part, but playing it, I really don't hate it. Like, oftentimes, I actually find myself generally enjoying, because turns out a game that lets you shoot gun really good allows you to forgive a lot of sins. Isn't that right, Bungie? My biggest issue was by far the 3v3 nature of the game, as that was the most common complaint by so many others. So, I think within a week, the devs added a 5v5 mode immediately after launch, and that goes in line with their initial statements about letting the community feedback help shape the game. 5v5, mind you, is genuinely a cut above 3v3 in almost every way. It is actually quite enjoyable at times. Not to mention, there is a lot of aspects of the game that are just really damn cool. The voice acting is top-notch across the board. The starting screens for the game are also actually very neat looking, and I can't help but appreciate the fact that attacking an enemy base involves stabbing a giant sword into a shield to summon a portal for a huge cat battering ram tower. Like, I don't care about your thoughts on the game, that animation involves stabbing a giant sword into a shield to summon a portal for a huge cat battering ram tower. Like, I don't care about your thoughts on the game, that animation is sick as hell. All of this to say, again, I don't dislike Highguard. It's very mid, but its gameplay is good enough and animation slick enough that I can forgive some of its relatively underbaked aspects, at least for a little bit. It's still not a fantastic game, but it's still at least a bit mixed. But unfortunately, a little bit isn't really something that flies in a gas game like this. Now, of course, it all started
Game as a
with Game
service.
Awards. The last game shown of the night is normally a really big one. It's a big deal. It's right before Game of the Year. It sort of crescendos it up, and it's overall just a bit of a spectacle. For reference, the final games shown before Game of the Year in 2020 and onwards were Mass Effect 5, absolutely hilarious. 2021 was Arc Raiders and some Keanu Reeves thing. 2022 was Final Fantasy 16. 2023 was Monster Hunter Wilds, and 2024 was that new Naughty Dog game, Intergalactic. You know, all games that either have a cultural significance or an impact to their studios or their long-running franchises or something along those lines. The thing that constantly gets at me is that Highguard being the final game in the Game of the Year show just went against everything the game set out to do. Every interview, every developer commentary, all the things I mentioned talk so heavily on this game being a slow, smooth shadow drop to then ramp up and find its footing. Low and slow, like I said before. A bombastic final trailer at the VGAs seems to have never been the plan. I've tried hard to ask around about why this decision was made, and I cannot seem to find an answer. The only thing I've seen is that Jeff likes the game and wanted to show it off, but that doesn't seem like it's enough of the full story. There is a little bit of a possibility that because Wildlight was funded by Tencent, as Tencent funds like everyone nowadays, and Jeff does have a lot of Tencent-related things in his Game Awards, there may have been a mutual interest there, but that is getting a little bit conspiratorial, and I don't know if it's enough for me to really kind of call that. Regardless, the game was shown, and the hate was instant. The game was laughed at and shit on from every corner of the internet the moment the words ex-Titanfall devs were uttered and then immediately transitioned to horseback. Now, call me crazy, but I am not someone who generally thinks something should be written off immediately without even playing the game, especially in the case of multiplayer shooters. Because the trailer, while not particularly inspiring, doesn't look like an asset flip or some kind of scam, where it's very easy to judge a book by its cover. For such a high-profile announcement, I do think you should at least try the title before passing judgment. I know, super hot. I watched it myself. I wasn't blown away, but I tried to at least keep a bit of a neutral stance. However, after the VGAs and the immediate bombarding on social media, Wildlight went dark, as was their plan all along, and that only stirred up more confusion on the title. You'd think for the final game of the showcase they'd have a bunch of stuff leading up to it. We now know why that wasn't the case, but it still didn't help with sentiment whatsoever. When the game did finally launch, it was bombarded with negative reviews in the first 10 minutes of its launch, throwing it to overwhelmingly negative on Steam. At launch, it had the usual streamers playing it, as was expected with the Apex launch, and then everyone got its hands on it. The Steam reviews did move up and now sit at a mixed rating, which I think is about where I would personally put it at the time of recording this video. Like I said in the beginning, I wasn't going to make a video on Highguard. I saw it, I played it, I left with the feelings I've already described. Some good parts, some bad parts, generally mixed. But then I heard about the layoffs. On February 11th, the lead level designer, Alex Granner, said that most of the team at Wildlight was laid. Character designer and feature rigger Josh Sobel also confirmed he was laid off with the quote, most of the staff. Now, while there are no exact numbers given to the amount of people laid off, Wildlight's team was about 100, so considering it was most of the team, I'd garner around 50 to 80 people were laid off. And this was the ultimate death knell for the game, the final nail in the coffin. Not because the game didn't have a chance to recover, but because optics like this is specifically bad for anything that is looking to be a live service. Just a week or so ago, maybe a couple of weeks by the time this video comes out, Riot's fighting game 2XKO was reported to have major layoffs as well, just shortly after the game had launched. I was literally invited to the Riot event before the game's launch, and not every employee I had met there is still working there now. 2XKO as a game is not going to die. At least right now. It has a year's worth of content coming, and those will be coming out. But when a free-to-play game that specifically relies on the spending of cosmetics in a game states they've lost a ton of staff, why would players willingly spend money on a game that they now perceive as sinking? It's a strange perspective, but one thing about gas games is that the players need confidence that the game will stick around in order to spend money on it. This isn't a $15 expansion pack anymore. People want to use and get the most out of their purchase. And considering so many live service games have been going to the graveyard lately, and all that money with it, not even to mention the whole economy and everything, you're going to be pressed to keep consumer confidence in spending. High Guard has a whole year's worth of content ahead of it, as mentioned earlier, and as planned for since the beginning. Even as the layoffs were happening, they released another one of their playable characters to the game. As I am filming this, they made another major balance update, one of their many, to continue making the game more balanced. But all of that won't matter, because now the optics are there, the main source of revenue from the game, as little as it might be, is going to dry up. Shortly after the layoffs, the character and rigger dev who was let go, Joshua, made a long-winded post about High Guard. He lamented on the game's reception from the Game Awards, the toxic gamer culture that fostered into it, and his general sadness and disappointment on how everything went on. This spawned an absolute monstrous amount of articles and reactions, all specifically quoting the phrase, "We were turned into a joke from minute one," and many people saying that High Guard blames the gamers for why their game failed. And this is where I'm going to have to go on a rant of my own, because the dude is like 90% motherfucking right.
I'm moving different. This shit ain't nothing to me, man. I'm a dog. I'm biting the fart bubbles in the back.
The dude is completely right. It is unfair. It is extremely unfair. And so much of what he is saying is true. People spend all this time talking about how AAA sucks and gaming is dying, and people aren't making stuff they want to make anymore. And this team of developers pull away, they go yank a bunch of money from Tencent, and they run away from one of Lucifer's megacorps and says, "We can't do what we want on Apex, so we are going to do it ourselves with blackjack and hookers and a lot of Chinese money," only to then be immediately bombarded and compared to other failed developers. Like, am I taking crazy risks? It is such an insanely hot thing to say. Maybe the game didn't deserve to be dragged through the mud after one trailing forecast. That just maybe it isn't a super ethical or kind thing to laugh and poke fun at a studio for laying off most of its staff because, it's like Concord. Was I raised on a different planet, or is this just genuinely how it is now? Like, the dude goes on about how the internal feedback for the game was really positive and strong, and then he gets dogpiled that is a culture of toxic positivity like Concord was, and I cannot disagree more. I played Concord. High Guard is miles better than Concord. Miles. Its characters are not particularly inspiring, but come on, the side-by-side is night and day. It plays better than Concord, it sounded better than Concord. I say again, it deserves its mixed rating, but call me crazy, I believe him. I do believe that internally, people absolutely love playing this game because the people at Wildlight are fucking shooter developers. They went to go make a hardcore competitive shooter. This is what they do. This is their background. They made Titanfall and Apex. Of course they like the game they made. Of course they're stoked about the game they made. Jeff Keighley says he loved the game so much he wanted to show it off. And you know what? I kind of believe it. If this was the kind of game that was for you as it was for them, then yeah, it has potential. I feel like I'm going a little crazy. The dude spent the last half a decade of his life working on this game because he couldn't do what he wanted in his current job. They went to go do their own thing, they got their big funding, and they set off to make the game. Then in the course of a month, one single month, the game is revealed, mercilessly shut up, review bombed into oblivion, and then and all of his friends are laid off and to be the butt of the joke because High Guard is kind of mid. I'm sorry, no, I reject that premise. I reject the idea that developers can have to deal with shit like this and have a completely justifiable clapback and get put to the stake for it after everything that happened. No. Do I think Hygar would have succeeded even if it had its shadow drop and no VGA treatments? Probably not. Probably not. No. But I don't think the guy's entirely wrong. If they decided to do a shadow drop, not so and it was just this random thing came out from the X-Ball and X-Ape, I think it would have been that different. I do think it would have been hey, these guys went to go make this game. It's not perfect, but it's doing some weird stuff. And this is kind of interesting type thing. That's more what it would look like as opposed to immediate bombard. Do I think that people were going to immediately like it because it was shadow drop? No, absolutely not. I genuinely think that the entire idea around the game would have been different. The guy blames toxic gaming for the death of Hygar, but he doesn't really fully. Even in his own tweet, he says that it just played a role and it wasn't the entire reason. And I can't disagree with him. I mean, as someone like myself, a streamer, for example, I would never stream Hygar because if I did, all I would deal with the entire time is people asking me, why are you playing?
I have always tried to maintain a strict neutrality when it comes to travel data. Then again, I have never had an offer this tempting from someone as respectable as Mr. Nerva. Not only has he offered to provide me with test subjects, but he has also expressed a mutual interest in investigating the obelisks. All he asks from me is that I provide him with reliable counsel. I would trust few tribes to be able to make good on such promises, but Mr. Nerva's new legion is perhaps the most powerful tribe on the island. Indeed, if they maintain their current trajectory, they may be the only powerful tribe on the island. His offer is worth considering, at the very least.
Up here is because the wiki map says crystals can be found here. Because they're in caves or up in mountains.
Core 2, Ricky. You're gonna try out the new marathon treatment? I hope you enjoy playing this game now before it's gone in 1 month. I just don't want to deal with that. So I'm not gonna play Hygar. I'm not gonna actually subject myself to that kind of constant toxic chat. It's super annoying. Whereas at least if it was the shadow drop version, maybe I would be able to get away as a bunch of people come to the chat and ask, what in the world is this game? Oh, it's free? I guess I'll give it a shot. See, the game probably still wouldn't have succeeded. Because even if they went back to the NBA gameplay and changed the game to fit that cool, the game's hero design and art design are not inspiring enough to make the only source of income in this free-to-play game are the cosmetics. Unfortunately, the characters are not interesting enough to warrant money. At least not. But I would have much rather preferred it come to its normal conclusion instead of having the internet try to run its demise. So no, I don't think Hygar would have won. Maybe it would have had a slightly higher chance if the VGA stuff didn't happen and if it was shadow drop, because at that point maybe there would have been some kind of general time and updates as the game built itself up, and it wasn't immediately a massive negative bubble in the entire world's consciousness. He makes an actual point. The consumer has a lot of power, and a shitload of people put a lot of effort into immediately review bombing the game, and it does have an effect. He's not wrong. But even if the game had just gone its course and died normally, I could have at least written it off with valiant efforts and given them a good old better luck next time, and not dance on their fucking graves. I can't believe I stand here today and have to act that this is a hot take, but here we are. Partially, I think it's a sign of the times. I think the jadedness of the live service genre has been felt so far and wide. A massive amount of people have spent money on games that now lie buried, or a watch of something beloved has fallen to corporate greed or worse. Hygar maybe was where they all turned their sights to, and I think they shot the wrong person. This game is not an example of corporate greed. It's an example of a lot of people making a game they really liked in a time where that kinship is not shared by the industry at large. Maybe 5 years ago, this would have done gangbusters. if times were different and fatigue hadn't set in. But it didn't, and it won't. The death knell has already been sounded, and unless a miraculous comeback occurs, it will indeed be offline or on life support in a year or two. Future bricky addendum here, a little extra bit thrown into the video. When I first played Highguard, it was out of curiosity, and therefore little to none of it was filmed. Of course, I wasn't expecting to make a video on it. But as I played more of the game this last week, to get footage for this video, the feeling that Highguard was the wrong thing shot by the public became more and more prominent. The 5v5 mode is substantially more enjoyable than the 3v3. And I actually found myself excited to play it again for footage. Like, I was excited to load up Highguard. Now, I played a lot of live service shooters, and I was sitting there shocked that I was having more fun with Highguard than I was with Apex, Rainbow Six, Fortnite, or anything Call of Duty was putting out. Now, I understand the risk I take by putting the onus on players as opposed to developers, but the more I play, the more I think just how ridiculous it is to review bomb a game as if the people who made Titanfall didn't do it again, as if that was a choice they had, as if there's some sort of say over people's choices in how they spend their jobs and their creative visions they want to pursue. Wildlight literally stated they did not want to make a sci-fi game all of their lives, and they wanted to go off and do their own thing, and they were bit for it. And even if they could have stayed and made Titanfall 3, are you 1000% sure that under Electronic Arts' regime at the current moment, they would make the Titanfall you would truly enjoy? A video game is held up by its casual player base, by the everyman who is not as in tune with the internet, says, hey, let me check out that game. So when they only see article upon article of vitriol, video after video of Concord comparisons, and the game review bombed into oblivion, yeah, that's going to affect their purchases or their time. It's not like a lot of storage. The fact that Highguard was actually over all the way to a is actually insanely impressive. I'm sorry, but the developer was right. It isn't the only reason it failed, but it's absolutely part. The thing is, it doesn't matter if people think the game was good or not, or for them or not. Video games are such a genre style. It doesn't matter if people fucked with Highguard, but just maybe the team who made it didn't need to ran out of town before it even launched. Anyway, back to the past break. It's a sad story. It's not one I like to discuss, and it's not one that should be celebrated by any
that. No,
if that was where it was going to end up Game Awards or not. I stand here in this really weird cognitive dissonance where, like, yeah, I think the treatment of the game, the developers, and more is very unempathetic and just kind of awful to watch, and simultaneously, yeah, the game is pretty mid. It has some good parts here and there. It's certainly not like awful terrible, but yeah, the game is pretty mid. It doesn't either deserve this then or now. I also don't feel this need to hyper-analyze every single word of one of 100 developers of a studio who spent 5 years on this, immediately got shit on, and then fired. I can't imagine that was a state, and I'm sorry, I just don't necessarily think taking pot shots at them for that, and having them speak on behalf of the entire team is fair. Do I think the game maybe was in a bad time? Absolutely. Do I think that the people in Wildlight maybe liked their stuff a bit more than the wider public would have? Absolutely. Do I think that perchance what they aimed for in the genre, in the realm, in the style was wrong? 100%. Do I think Highguard would have made it again? I don't think so. But I still don't think this was the way. Honestly, if you like competitive team shooters, the game is free. Give it a shot, I suppose, if you don't mind putting an hour or two. I wouldn't necessarily say that everyone should go out and try it, but like if you like this kind of game, you may find it enjoyable a little bit. Kill a few hours, have a time with some friends, who knows. I would not recommend spending any money, as even if the layoffs didn't happen, I don't think a lot of stuff is very inspiring, but the layoffs did all happen, so I like parts of the game, I like other parts parts of the game, I think where it stands right now, mixed is the right place for it. I think the hate is both overblown and still not solid. So that's nuance, baby. More of that in the world. Anyway, a lot of stuff today coming from the chest. A lot from the chest. Maybe I'm a bit naive. Chance. I could be naive. I don't know. I see this and I feel bad. Especially since like so many friends. You imagine your friends working on a game and these decisions are not anywhere close to what he would decide or what she would want, and you can't imagine being in their position. So maybe thanks for watching. I'm sorry I had to talk about hiking. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you for Mass Effect next time. There's some action.
Sarko.
Approximately 477 kilometers squared and is home to 44,000 people, most of whom trace their origins to the Phoenician traders and explorers who arrived there during the early Middle Ages. Significant military buildup on the Mediterranean island over the course of 4 days. A spokesperson to the Russian Ministry of Foreign Affairs clarified that the presence of Russian armed forces arriving on Altis is necessary for the protection of the naval base on the western part of the island. International observers question why that necessitated the reassignment of 45,000 combat troops and associated armored divisions.
With a massive coordinated effort to all of Altis, the Russian government insisted that their actions are purely to deal with all of the surrounding region. However, the government around the Mediterranean has returned what they consider a failed
with emergency meetings of the UN Security Council. However, the international community remains divided on how to deal with the growing crisis, with the Russian government itself appearing to ignore calls for mediation. Thus, they appear to be sending a message that Russian control over the Black Sea and the Mediterranean will not be challenged.
What is anti-Stasi then? It's a game mode in which we play a small resistance faction, stealing guns, hitting runs, that kind of thing. It's like guerrilla warfare.
What's he doing? What are you doing? Gorillas? No, gorillas. Not the gorillas. No. Hang on. Wait a second. Fuck your shoe shine. Moogle, I'm pretty sure that's a purse.
No, it's got.
I'm certain it's a purse. It's a purse with a cross on it.
You're an asshole. I'm not patching you. Oh, if you want to put anything other than flip-flops on, now's the time.
No, these are my battle flip-flops. I fight with the strength of 10 men with my battle
Venom?
flip-flops. 10 really puny men.
Wearing a balaclava, but I don't think I'm incognito enough. Double balaclava.
Really? We are not fighting under the banner of Barbie Girl. Ravenclaw. Wait, is that Harry Potter?
That is Harry Potter.
Sorry, badgers. We'll be the badgers.
Alright, we'll be badgers.
Badgers. We're the badgers.
Join the badgers.
With the badgers. What's the one badger?
This is badger. We go.
Also, it's badgers. What sort of battle cry do badgers have? We sort of like gnash our teeth together and sort of.
We'll work it out on the ground.
Work it out on the ground. We need a battle cry with the badgers. Am I the only one invested in the badger thing? Badgers kids, that's brilliant. We're not being called Phil. We are the badgers. No, we are fighting for democracy. Fine, you can fight for money if you want. We're going to take over this resource dump, we're going to hold it, and then we're going to use its resources to free our brothers and sisters. We're all tasty. Shut up! Stand by. Who are the unarmed guys in the compound?
Civilians, not mine. There's civilians, by the way. Look, they're FBI, I'm seeing a lot of unarmed running.
They're moving in herds. They do move in herds. Hey lads. Hello, it is Shaggy. We're still holding. Oh, I see the enemy. What's the range target? 200 -ish.
Oh my god! You fire that! What?
200 -ish.
Oh my god! You fire that right over my head! You fucking dummy!
I see. They're all meant to see. Oh, they're prisoners.
Exactly, not a bit of a problem. After being like set the AI as the squad leader,
No, don't like shoot an ally. Oh, what the fuck? Terrible. Stooges is a band with leaflets and stripes to bring the people. Alright, yeah, do it.
I think it's one of those.
Is the guy in the right-hand seat?
Yeah.
Get it. Jesus Christ. It's one of us! Insubordination!
You can get in now.
Not sure I want it.
Alright, where the hell are we going? We're going.
I want to drop some pamphlets. Whoever the fuck that is. What do these pamphlets say anyway?
I don't know, I haven't read them.
Yeah.
That way.
Yeah, freedom of vote. Most people will be able to vote in us. Most people. Not everyone. Yes. Yes. Right. Right. Should we say no government on Thursday? No government on Thursday. Anarchy. Total fucking anarchy on Thursday. Oh, hello. Act natural, act natural, act natural. Oh, that's another point. Are we going to drive on the left or the right side?
I think straight down the middle. Try and show either side. Try and get it right. So go to the right, to the right, to the right. Don't get too far from the road, turn left.
Oh, we're over. What have you done? No.
Fucking hell, where are you driving, dude?
We're going to die. Trying to get on the road. Oh, God, we're getting shot at. Oh, no. Moogle's dead. Moogle's dead. Moogle.
Right, so our mission is with very much propaganda leaflets that sound accurate.
Moogle, you're not supposed to call them propaganda leaflets. If you call it propaganda, that defeats the fucking point.
That's what it is.
No! If it's our propaganda, you're not supposed to call it propaganda. God, has he never run an insurgency before? These are the leaflets for distributing. Who picked this guy as our spokesperson? Looks like a paedophile. Huh? This is where you tell me that he's one of the deads or something.
Yeah.
No, I mean he looks, yeah, he's very friendly looking.
Man of all, stand here and can ye hear thy crying billow wave on wave, that surging follow battle, distant sound is the tramp of Saxon bowmen, Saxon spearmen, Saxon bowmen, be they high or
Oh, it didn't work! Oh no! 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 I got shot. Now what? After we fought, better than I told you. Oh, so hang on, potentially a resistance member could come and save me. And of course they will, because I'm like a YouTube celebrity. So I just need to wait here. Just patience, just relax for a second. Just a moment now. Any moment now. Yeah, help. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, waving's good. Wait, yeah, someone will be on their way on the base. There's a mission to contact a corrupt politician, so even more reason to come and pick me up. Motherfucker! I'm on the rock. No, I can't. Oh, Christ, is that a... What is that?
What the
What
fuck
is that
did you
fire?
do? Yeah, it wouldn't have
Oh.
You are a liability.
I'm gonna switch it back to normal bullets.
Next time you've had a pencil, a little bit of warning.
I'm just gonna go and have a quick wander to surface, see what's in there. You coming with? Yes, it will be fine. It will be fine. I have an intuitive sense of direction, you see. No, we should say that we're Bohemia developers. Pictures of the countryside. Yeah, we're improving, so we're fine.
Jensen.
Hello. I'm a tourist, though. I'm fine. Yeah, I'm a tourist. Just here taking holiday snacks. Can you look at the camera, Moogle? Give us a smile.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, Moogle, stand still. Insurgency. There we go. I got it. Fantastic. Yeah, this is really good. Oh, gift shop. Yeah, I'm gonna put some things in here. Look at this. Oh, yeah, local, local flavour. Look, they've even got a guy in, authentic gear as well, like an entertainer. Do you speak English? Yeah. Right. Cut it out. I need an adult. No!
Have they got in the house?
Run order.
You, join us or die.
No, this is not what our resistance stands for. We are about justice and fairness.
How the hell are we going to complete the mission?
Hearts and minds. It's about getting people on our side. Sit in the truck. Oh, for fuck's sake. I'm starting to question the morality of our cause. Oh, there's a dog. Hang on, wait, I'll stop. Hello, doggy. No! I've got some AI with it. So I pulled some AI to the filter spots. Just cheap AI we throw them away. Sorry, I mean, they're brothers in arms all. For the revolution! For Alton! No, we're not called Bill, for Christ's sake! Well, that's just Moogle. No, okay, wait. No, wait, hold on. No, it's not propaganda. Calm down. Okay. Well, hold on. He's doing what? I'm pulling you away. Hang in there, man. I got you. Oh, he's fucked. Oh, he's fucked. You okay, Chinny? Hang on. Pulling him to safety behind cover. He's fucking bleeding bad. Hang on. You've got burns all over your legs. You were next to the ammo race. I'm going to patch you up and then get some morphine in you. Epinephrine is in. Go up. Really? Were you playing that all while you were unconscious? Shit, dude in here. Another dude in here. Can someone throw a nade in here? Oh, wait, I've got one. Stand clear. Go. Oh, what the hell? What on earth was he made of? Now that. Yeah. There we go. Incognito once again. So we look like civilians. Who's that behind us? It's social. If I would suddenly break, that would break the front wheel, wouldn't it? That would be a really ridiculous thing to do. Oh, what? Come on! How dare he destroy my vehicle exactly like I was about to do to him. What a bastard. Yeah, I think he's resistance, right? Yeah, I think so. Just in case, you never know. Yeah, you never know. Yeah. You never know. Never be too careful. Never be too careful.
Fuck up when I got into this truck. Did you guys just shoot on a Euro?
No. Yeah, we need to improve our morale. Something is firing. No! Do you just have that on a hotkey?
Quebec just stole my car.
He's from Birmingham, he does that.
Enemies in the bottom left window.
Behind the bricks.
Firing on friendly.
Sorry! But they look like Russians. We having a gunfight with our inside. The last 10 minutes. Sorry! Sorry.
Really sneaky gorillas. Maybe they're behind this wall and just fucking fell over.
Whoa!
The same way that we
Oh, holy. You're okay.
Yeah! I realised I'm on the wrong channel. Radio Shack? What the fuck are you doing here? Oh, this is corporatizing already. Are there any brands that aren't on this frequency?
Can I take yours?
Oh, cool. Right, strip them. Take what we need. We've got lots of AK ammo, so maybe don't grab all that shit.
Thank you! How the fuck have you got that, Rocky?
Grabbing anti-air. Shit. What? What? I can't hear you over the run. Whoopsie. My bad. Sorry. Fog of war. Fog of war. Fog of war! I was confused. I'm stressed, okay? I'm in stressful combat situation. It's alright. I'm sure they're fine. I'm sure they made it. They're okay. Some light wounds.
So I managed to steal our hide. Don't shoot me down. Couldn't hear because of the rain.
It'll be alright. They'll walk it off. Great success. Now, you tell all of your friends what happened here today. You tell them that the badgers were here, and we are not...
Why is there glare on the book?
Democracy. Free barbecues every other Saturday. Also, you can be stuck. All road signs... I was espousing our manifesto. Background clear. Knock yourself out with the same background. Oh, what a worry. Background clear. Did he knock himself out with the same background? Oh, what a worry.
I'm going to go and check on that IFV that I used with the machine gun.
Alright. What the hell? How? I don't understand.
Send the tank over.
Right, perfect. This tank would be great for the base. Yep, it's alright, it'll buff out. It'll buff out, it's fine. Yeah.
Ready?
Oh god!
Okay, ready?
Oh god! We're using suicide bombs. Right, is there a war crime we haven't yet committed? And we've received a radio tower and we're trying to secure arms and equipment to use on the next mission. Where did we park? Oh dear, that is... We've got the reinforcements. It's just infantry, they should be alright, right? Oh, that doesn't look good. Yeah, I don't know, there's the rendering.
I'm just trying to hunt for fucking crystals.
Oh, what the... Guys, what happened to honour and democracy and everything? They're executing the surrender... Oh! Someone stop it! Fuck me! Are we the baddies? We're the bad guys! We're the fucking bad guys!
In his defense, he was telling us to go fuck ourselves.
What the fuck?
Hey, look, if someone's telling us to go fuck ourselves, what's the appropriate response?
Oh, gee, maybe one of them isn't break the fucking Geneva Convention. We're the fucking baddies!
Sometimes you have to get your hands
No. On YouTube, I am already known for wiping out a village of innocent people accidentally, and now I'm part of basically an illegal insurgency.
You know what you're signing up for.
Oh, for fuck's sake! It worked. Oh, we're fucking terrorists! We're just terrorists! You ready for a quick response? No! Don't use the civilians as a human fucking shield! That is... What? We're gonna be fucking tried in the hay. At the end of this, we're gonna get tried in the fucking hay. So fucking silly. Can you actually shoot with that? Can you actually, like, shoot safely?
Yeah.
Oh. Whoa. Take cover. Mortar fire. Fuck, I think I need my own civilian. Where did you get that one? Right, we're good. Okay. He's doing his part.
Yeah, fuck, when I have one.
Yeah, there's one over there.
You put the thing in your tube.
Well, we started taking mortar fire. Look, ultimately, who's more important? Some random civilian or a member of a leader of the resistance?
Alright, okay, let's advance on the base.
Yeah.
Charge!
Charge! For all six brothers!
My assault with my human shield appears to be working.
How have we not discovered this sooner?
This is fucking stupid. Forward! It is the reason why.
It's us, isn't it? We are the reason. Form a line. You okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
Right, you guys ready? Let's go. Go.
Roll, out.
Oh shit, that beat you out turning to main gun. Spinning, don't shoot! Oh no! Shit! For all this!
I'm in the BTR. Taking over the gunner.
Well done, brother! Right. Whoa! It's actually working! Fucking hell, we actually took the base. Through exploiting the mercy of our enemy, I think. We are terrible people. We are genuinely terrible people. Basically, we attacked the power station and then used the workers as shields to attack the base nearby.
We're writing down that they volunteered.
Yes, their sacrifices will be remembered, Quebec. They are brothers of the revolution. But, you know, you can't make an omelette. Mortar truck move here. I see. Awesome. So that's my mortar team. Oh, I see. It's deploying the tube. Sweet. I must select artillery group. Fire a single smoke round. Oh, fuck me, that was loud. That's so cool. So what's their range? What are we talking about here? So it should have landed down there, right? Oh man, that's amazing. I love it. That's really cool. Look there. Something coming. Is that hostile? Oh, Christ on toast! That's the gunship. Enemy gunship. Christ. Christ. Okay, fine. Hang on. Let's sort this. Deal with it. Shit. They found it. Is it loaded? I have it loaded? Shit. It's not loaded. I've got to get back to the crate again. Oh, God. Did I mention there's Rookie they eventually zero in the mortars? No, you didn't mention that part. Oh, Christ. No! No way! The Russian Air Force has found us. Oh, we can't spawn with enemies nearby. Are we screwed? Have I actually screwed the entire... I don't believe this. I have doomed the resistance. I have actually doomed the resistance. Let me in. God damn it. So long as I don't kill the commander. No! No! Oh, no! I was just relaxing on a Saturday, and I've ruined the multiplayer for everybody. I've actually edged the resistance. I can't...
Which occurred in the early hours of Saturday morning, conducted by Special Forces of the Russian Federation. With investigators now on the scene and sifting through the debris, a spokesperson for the Russian government has released a statement claiming that the swift destruction of this nest of terrorists should prove that active violence against the innocent people of Elsis will not be tolerated, and that Russia will do everything in its power to
Village community in mourning this evening after the murder of a young bricklayer and father of two. Anthony Rudino was rounded up at gunpoint alongside several other young men from the village of Neri last Sunday morning, and after refusing to climb into an unmarked van, he was shot and killed by the group leaders as to serve as an example to the others. A funeral service was held last night.
At least 11 people are dead and many more wounded in what's believed to be a suicide bombing on the island of Algeria this afternoon. No group was claimed responsibility, yet this event is one of many similar tragedies unfolding.
Having been shaken by so many acts of violence over the last several weeks, with last Friday's firebombing of the orphanage of St. Clair's giving a sense of unity and strong determination before the day of domestic terror.
Standing in sharp contrast to earlier polls, which now show strong support. Local residents cited an improved sense of stability with the renewed presence of Russian troops. Other factors including the efforts of Russian army engineers bringing public services and clean drinking water to areas of the island neglected by the prior Altian government.
Speaking briefly on the terrorist organisation who go by the name of MILF. They fought amongst themselves for power, assets and cash flow, and did not care much about the ordinary people. A referendum was held on the island on March the 16th, in full compliance with democratic procedures and international norms. More than 82% of the electorate took part in the vote. Over 96% of them spoke out in favour of uniting with Russia. These numbers speak for themselves.
representing an easing of tensions in the region, with newly elected Governor Christoph Berlin pledging to work closely with Russian officials in the efforts of rebuilding. Now, from the Mediterranean back to your home. Violent video games inspired by the Japanese dystopian film Battle Royale. Are they causing autism in your child? We go now to a concerned mother of four to find out.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus Christ.
It's quite nice.
Oh, shit on toast. Ooh.
Wait, you haven't changed anything, have you?
No, I don't know how. Fuck.
Hey! I've been wearing pants this whole time.
Whoa, what the fuck? Oh, come on, I had to have hit him. Oh, I'm down. Fuck. I really enjoy open-world survival games. Things like the DayZ mod, or the DayZ Standalone, or Rust, or 7 Days to Die. They're absolutely my cup of tea. For those not familiar at all, they're a relatively new-ish crop of games that involve dropping people into a big open map and then just having them fend for themselves, either against the environment or people, or both. Survival games often stand in total contrast to the rest of the gaming industry, as they put this overwhelming emphasis on player freedom. The developers still have influence, yes, they dictate how the gaming world works, but it's much more subtle. It requires thinking things through carefully, without the player being made aware that they're being directed. As a result, immersion, a quality that I personally feel is paramount to a decent game, comes very easy to the open world survival format. Many companies in the games industry often just copy what films are doing, using extremely structured story-driven narratives, motion capture with real actors, and player freedom, but only within a very limited margin. And whilst to each their own, those sorts of games just aren't for me. Sure, I can root for the struggles of a protagonist if I feel that they're well presented, but I can never reach that same level of immersion. I can't feel like the adventure is really mine when it feels like I'm being corralled into making 2 or 3 very specific choices, at least compared to the times where I know that the gloves are truly off. Should we rob shit? See what it is?
Yeah, fuck
Should we rob it?
Rob the fucking...
Drop the guns into the stick up! Stick up!
What the fuck?
Oh, it's Harry!
I have a bear. You want a bear?
What the fuck? Now, I'm a sucker for innovation in gaming. I just love it. I really love to see new ideas emerge in a genre. Those moments where you go, ooh, that's a clever idea. It doesn't happen often, but when it does, ooh. When some new game is released, I really don't care about all the marketing hype. I wait for all of that crap to die down, and then I like to dig in and chop through its mechanics, asking what new ideas do you bring to the table of this particular genre? And the answer can vary wildly, from nothing at all to, oh, I don't know, popularizing a new game format worth collectively billions. I mean, I am slowly making some video essays talking about the DayZ mod and its impact, the ripples of which the games industry is still feeling. And in one of those video essays, I talked about how the customer base experimented with the survival game concept, presenting this diagram to explain it. I've since taken that and have tarted it up a bit, showing more of the broad strokes, as far as I can see them, for the survival game market as a whole, so it's relevant to a point I want to make coming up. So here we have the DayZ mod, launching in 2012, and it rapidly became popular, seeing a flurry of creative energy as players worked to make their own versions of it. From there, we saw various development studios come in and create their own zombie survival sandbox games, sometimes innovative and interesting, sometimes not so much. Fairly quickly though, we saw some great ideas branch off further, presenting game modes with completely different approaches to survival, some of which were also inspired by voxel-based building games such as Minecraft a few years prior. This is where we saw the rise of the base building survival game mode. For example, it felt like developers were releasing games with the same key words you've heard before: early access, base building, crafting, survival. This is basically why that happened. Franchises that had no business being in multiplayer open world survival was suddenly pivoting hard into that market, taking risks by just ignoring their previous customer trends. Companies going to right, looking into categories as time's been going, but eventually the more combat-focused DayZ mods crystallized into what we can now identify as Battle Royale, where the traffic to the survival genre are still pretty present in the big open world. Random start locations, you loot guns, you find each other, but it's intentionally cut down so you get to the shooty bits as soon as possible. Though it's noteworthy that this market was less spearheaded by customers and more by one man, Player Unknown, who banked on there being first for a PvP-heavy DayZ, and he was proven correct. Well done there. But nevertheless, a subgenre very much built on what came before, without a doubt. But you see, on doing this, on visualizing it, you start to realize that the complete version of the survival genre, where there are few bells and whistles, and it's just an open world, they've sort of faded a little bit over the years. To be fair, it's the sort of subgenre that's minimalist by design, and probably has something of a half-life, but it's kind of odd that it's faded away
survival games, but more often than not, they incorporate many of the features of base building now, which isn't bad at all, it's just a little different. Emphasis there is often on surviving multiple respawns and stockpiling resources and such, and the game often gives you the ability to modify your environments, be it with just building a home or full-on Minecraft-style terraforming. And, well, you see, that does a lot to change the nature of the survival experience. A great example would be Subnautica, which would probably be in the classic survival category, at least on paper, and its first half hour of play would be reflective of that, as you desperately try to obtain enough water to drink or food to eat, as the sole survivor of a nasty starship crash on an ocean planet. But the game fairly quickly incorporates a lot of base building elements, which gradually push at the dangers around you, making them much smaller, with the player able to build elaborate undersea homes, stocked with ever more nutritious food in more or less a limitless supply. And also, it gives you the ability to build vehicles that simply become too big for most predators to interfere with, gradually reducing their threat. Again, this is not bad at all, and many games in this genre would be worse without these features. It's just that it's tamer. It's the difference between, say, 28 Days Later, where you're a survivor with very little overall control, and Robinson Crusoe, where the world can be bent to your needs. A little bit. Or, put another way, you're not getting better at jumping through the hoops, with the game having to provide smaller ones for the challenge. You are gradually making the hoop larger and easier to jump through with your progression. That is the difference between classic survival and base building. This probably also explains why base building survival games take a lot of inspiration from voxel-based building games. That sort of progression and terraforming really goes hand in hand. But despite the drought in classic open-world survival titles, there has been something very interesting happening.
I reduced the hunger drain. They do still drain hunger. Or as they should. Injured? How am I injured? Why am I dying? Cold?
Here, a batch of games that are flying under the radar, and I'm keen to shine a spotlight on them. That's the purpose of this video, to simply highlight some interesting design choices that are being made here that are not only bucking the overall trend, but are doing it in a particularly clever way, and not simply aping DayZ for the billionth time, or Minecraft for the bazillionth time, but have taken the classic survival game format, have tweaked it just a little bit, that also highlights the lack of imagination from so many developers in this market. I want to talk about a game called The Isle. A cool word for maybe don't buy The Isle. I don't know, it's complicated. The development is in a bit of a weird stage where they're recoding everything, so I'm talking about legacy content that might not even exist by the time you watch it. Plus, there's lots of competition rising in space, and you're forgiving me, there's a bunch of drama stuff concerning the developers, which, well, I've not really dived into it, but they do come across as a bit iffy. Just hold off for a second. Just let me babble about it. I more just want to talk about the clever idea that it brings forward in what is now a very saturated market. So, The Isle is classic survival. Extremely so. It is an early access game in which players go into a big open map, starting and were it just that, fade into the background behind dozens of other similar games with more features. To make it stand out from the crowd, I'm going to call them Twist A and Twist B. The first one is the obvious one, and the second is hidden, might be partially accidental, and is very, very interesting. Twist A. In the Isle, you are a player who is roaming around and surviving in this survival game. As you do, you might meet players, you might work together, or fight, or run, blah blah, so far, so standard. But whereas other games have you surviving, picking through houses for food, or for guns, or for scrap, or whatever, in what is probably a post-apocalypse, this one is set in a lush and beautiful jungle, and you can't pick through the remnants of some human society, because you are not human, you're a dinosaur. It's Jurassic Park, basically. A huge open map given over to some 200 or so players, all of whom are pretending to be dinosaurs, be it raptors stalking, or dinosaurs grazing, or Calamites doing whatever the fuck that is. This is Twist A, mostly aesthetic, but not entirely, and it's a bit of a formula break, which immediately makes it stand out from the rest of the market, whether the developers know that or not. The Disney and let's be fair, popularized a very familiar template. You're a humanoid, you have a first-person perspective, usually, the ability to have an inventory and to craft things, to find ranged weapons and fire them in a big open map with nebulous PvP, but here, you're a dinosaur. You cannot pick up guns, you cannot find upgrades, you cannot craft stuff in your inventory because you have no inventory. Your weapons, be they for attack or defense, are built into your body and cannot be changed, and are always melee. Just think briefly on all the survival games you've played, including the base building ones. It's almost always humanoids, probably with an inventory, probably with a gun. Even games like The Stomping Lands or Ark, who directly include dinosaurs, only really treat them as vehicles, launching with the standard, you are human, you gather stuff, you craft that stuff, blah blah blah. So this small idea from the Isle, having players be animals, is a big change. In addition to this, there are some clever extras. Immersion has been focused on with excellent audio each of the dinosaurs has their own unique call. And there's no voice comms. Over time, you start to recognize the various roars that you hear throughout the jungle, being able to identify the species, the group size, and even the temperament of the players around you. Also, the dinosaurs have been given a real sense of weight, rather than just bouncing around and spazzing out. They stomp and heave, and some of them just turning around and doing things. You really feel like your dinosaur has a presence in the game world. The group chat system only lets you invite members of your own dinosaur species, which greatly encourages you to herd up with your own kind, further adding to the immersion. You'll see flocks of Calamites players running past, or packs of Dilophosaurus stalking together, or parasaurs nesting, that type of thing. You can hatch eggs, which will let your friends spawn in directly at your location. Daisy Standalone, take note. Nobody wants to spend the better part of an hour moving across the map just to start playing with your friends. The environmental challenges, such as night and rain, are not to be trifled with, as they can dramatically change your survival chances, with some species having dreadful night vision, making you more or less helpless the moment the sun goes down, with rainstorms removing your ability to navigate by scent and find food. You may find yourself in desperate straits if you don't plan ahead. And whilst the global chat does let all species talk to each other, it's accompanied by an involuntary vocalization. All chat is. Which is actually a pretty good
good idea, as you're sitting at night and you can hear Utah raptors barking, parasaurs tramping, and T-Rexes roaring.
Tame an otter and wear it for isolation, or utilize diapers support. Shit, out of my inventory. Fiber, hide, metal, pelt. Really, I need pelt? I'm gonna be made in smith it.
All up into the night sky, it's all just players socializing in this great big dinosaur chat room. So that's twist A, that's the obvious. But in the genre of open world let's be humans and loot stuff, here is one where you play as a non-human, selecting completely different species to determine what weapons you will have and what you can do, and it's experimenting with what this means gameplay-wise. It's no doubt one of the more tempting things for people because, well, fair, dinosaurs are cool. There are competitors appearing also, even one that breaks the formula and makes dragons. More on that soon. So, Twist A has been noticed. Hidden underneath Twist A is Twist B, and this is the one I want to talk about. In open world survival, you have what I call PvE internal requirements. That is to say, environmental challenges that a player must face. They dictate what actions they need to perform. Things like a hunger bar, or thirst, or tiredness, or body temperature, that sort of thing. This is
I think I've gotten as far in my studies of the obelisks as my archaeological expertise will take me. A shame, really. This has been such a joyous little diversion that I hate to see it end. Oh, Rockwell, you old twit. You've forgotten the origins of this little excursion. Spelunking. Did you yourself not hypothesize that there may be more artifacts hidden elsewhere on this island? Surely you can't give up before confirming that. No, certainly not. Nor can I be expected to scour the Ark's corners alone. Perhaps someone can spell in my stead. Better yet, perhaps someone has already spelunked.
big part of the survival in a survival game, and failing to satisfy these after a certain amount of time will usually result in the game punishing you, be it your player character being weakened or just dying. Chapter for Daisy where I delve into this more. I'm sorry, holy shit. Effectively, these are the means by which a savvy developer is able to subtly control audience behavior by forcing them to collect things to keep their progress and then controlling where those things are. Say, for example, you make a game where every player needs to find food, and then players in the game will start searching food in the boxes, and you find a stick. They calm that down, their bar goes up, they stay alive for another 30 minutes, and it teaches them how this system works. But, from time to time, if you're a smart player, you throw them a difficult one. Like, oh no, I have a bacterial infection from an injury, I need to find antibiotics. And then you, as the developer, only put them in specific locations. Doing so lays out a challenge and increases the chances that players will run into each other trying to meet the same need, rather than just wandering around semi-aimlessly. This is bread and butter survival game stuff. Your unique internal requirements are those items that the game demands that you collect, and the developer plans out where they want those to be. Twist B for the aisle can be found within this mechanic, and there is a chance it's not entirely deliverable. Twist A. Let's do demonstration. See if you can spot it. Hi, I'm an Ankylosaurus. I've got a hammer on my bum. Haha! Oh look, there's a stream. Nom 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 nom. Hey, now I need some food. There's a big berry bush right here. Nom 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 nom. Sorted. This game is easy. Hello, I'm a parasol. I have a trumpet for a face. Good, good. Oh, I need some water. Oh look, there's a lake. Nom 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 nom. Oh, I love water. Oh, I need some food. Oh, there's a small berry bush right here. Nom 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 nom. Wow, water is just all over the place. Hi, I'm a Tyrannosaurus Rex. I have really big teeth. I need some water. Oh, there's some in the stream right here. Nom 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 nom. Now I'm really hungry. I need this.
Are they Dilophosaurus? Oh my god, that's terrifying. They're out there. And if you're a small dinosaur, you may opt to hide in dense foliage. But then, the carnival players can sense part of the path that you've walked, so you may find yourself desperately hoping to avoid detection, as hungry players will try to circle in on your hiding spot. A high-stakes, high-adrenaline game of hide and seek. Everyone find a hedge and rest. Find a hedge and rest. I want to find a better one. Hang on. It's coming. It's coming.
Oh, is it?
It's coming. It's coming.
Oh my gosh. I'm gonna run out of stamina.
It's on me! Miss me. It's coming for you. He's following your trail. He's following your scent. Even the carnival players aren't safe. Sure, you may have big teeth, but you still make thieves, same as everyone else. Water, water, water. Oh, hello. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Whoa! Holy shit. Oh, the gig is in trouble. His leg's been broken. Oh, the gig is fucked. Look at that. Whoa! This small twist taking some players' requirements off the game and snapping them directly onto players creates something extremely interesting. This is twist B, and oh my god, what a good twist. Battle Royale games have a similar thing going. The player objective is to hunt each other, but I think they're far more classic have done in response to the Isle. A number of servers, notably the ones called Teutonic, have set up role-playing conditions in which players are further encouraged to behave as though they're a dinosaur, presumably realizing how interesting this survival game could be. Enhanced, those who watched the Daisy video essays may be getting some deja vu. Customers are modifying, be it through literal mods or in this case just server rules, a product in a direction that the developer may not have expected. For example, some of these role-playing rules. Rule 36, herbivore players cannot attack unprovoked. They need to do aggressive calls to warn predator players to get back. Your weapons are defensive, therefore a herbivore should be playing as such. Rule 42, almost all dinosaurs are allowed to purge, but only in packs up to a certain size, with special restrictions placed on apex predators because, well, they're apex. They're not supposed to play well with others. And this also includes strict rules against carnivore and herbivore mingling. Rule 38. Herbivores cannot take revenge when a herd mate is slain by attacking the feasting carnivores. That's just not what herbivores do. The zebra don't bother much the lions when one of their number is killed. And Rule 34. Another one. If you are a special aquatic type of dinosaur, if you lie down in the water and stay still, players aren't allowed to hunt you if they are not aquatic themselves. They physically can't. They can just walk over to the lake and press the button. No lion dives into a murky river to try and hunt an hippo. That would be suicide. What I'm saying is that the customer response to Twist B has been very positive, with a lot of users totally on board for more, and great rules can elevate the gameplay into something truly unique and fascinating, a cat-and-mouse ecosystem game in which you feel like you're a dinosaur in your own little prehistoric world. Oh shit, Jesus Christ, it's a wreck! She's got his head bitten off! Jesus Christ! But of all of the rules, there's one in particular that is really interesting. See, the base game has a bit of a problem. If each of the dinosaur species are
class selection. You're locked into them for hours as they grow. Why would anyone do that? Imagine maybe you're right, but the only weapon you can use is the one you select on spawning. Everyone would go straight to the T-Rex or the Giga, massive apex predators that dominate the map, rather than whatever that... Remember that? I can't remember what to do. That's what I got. The massive apex predators that dominate the map, rather than... Sorry. Everyone would go straight to the T-Rex or the Giga, the massive apex predators that dominate the map, rather than this fucking herbivore. Well, the role-playing servers responded by attempting to course-correct the game's design flaw by enforcing something called the body down rule. It goes something like this. When a hunt commences, the herbivores are running, the carnivores are chasing, but the moment any player dies, be it a herbivore through blood loss or a carnivore getting careless, the hunt stops on the role-playing servers. A body is down. It doesn't matter what the source of the meat is available. It centers the conflict around what it is supposed to be about.
You've already got a kill, go eat that. You don't need to keep hunting.
If the predator players continue the chase after this point, then an admin smacks them. They must instead camp the body and eat it, not leaving it until they've stripped the carcass bare, a process that might take up to an hour. This rule not only has the predator players behave exactly as predators do in real life, the lions don't take 2 bites out of their kill and then just keep chasing the herd. It immediately relieves the pressure on the herbivore players and makes them viable to play, rather than just being non-stop hunted across every compass point. It forces the predators to slow the fuck down, to give the herbivore players with their much weaker classes a breather. In fact, in many cases, it makes playing the weaker classes a lot more fun. Sometimes it's just more thrilling to be the chased rather than the chaser. Oh my god! Okay, hello. Hi, how are you doing? I feel inadequate. Do you now? Yes, you guys can stay over there. Yeah, right there. Actually, no, you Furthermore, this creates a really interesting ritualistic play, in that with a body down, the carnivore players have no further reason to be aggressive, and the herbivore players don't have to worry about being chased, since the pursuers are probably fed, and the other circling carnivores don't necessarily need to start a fresh hunt. Not always, anyway. They can try to beg for scraps off the kill. In fact, it's really not uncommon to see a large T-Rex player making a big kill, only to find that the commotion attracts scavengers. 7 hours of playtime growing his massive dinosaur probably relinquishes his prize to the starving opportunists. They don't have to. They can stand their ground and fight, but if they fuck it up, then, well, they're back to square one as a baby Rex, looking like a moron. This sort of gameplay, this player-driven ecosystem sim, is intensely fascinating. Come daybreak, you'll often find the carnivores have made a kill and are sitting there with bellies full. The herbivores are grazing, together hanging out, and after all the excitement of the hunt, everyone, apart from 1 or 2 unlucky buggers who are breakfast, is just relaxing, chatting, getting to know each other, and mingling in their own herds and packs that are... It is helped by the fact that everyone is melee, so you can be in relatively close proximity to each other without worrying about someone else shooting you with a scoped weapon. Compare and contrast to other survival game communities, where the populations, through betrayal and dickery, are just a paranoid mess of twitchy players. Sure, let's not lump everybody together. There are role-playing communities out there too, but nothing like this. Here, the ritualistic play of role-playing servers, encouraging players to act as dinosaurs, built on PvE ideas that are forcing players to hunt each other as carnivores and herbivores. Here's a gameplay loop that feels utterly unique. Shit, no! God damn! Fuck! No! Shit! Out of the dark, hunted, silent as anything. Bollocks. That's how it goes, folks. That was the Isle. Now then, in the following years after the Isle's release, a number of other titles started to appear in that same space. Whilst not all of them are directly inspired by the Isle, they are definitely swimming in the same waters. They have mostly made playing as a dinosaur the main selling point, Twist A, but I'm fascinated to see if any of them have spotted Twist B, a player-driven ecosystem. So, I couldn't contain my curiosity and I did some digging. First up, Saurian, released in 2017. Over a weekend, I downloaded an early access build and played for about an hour, roaming around in a recreation of Hell's Creek in a terrifying wasteland known only as Montana. It sounds positively dreadful. Once there, I spent some time roaming around as an avian-type dinosaur, with the developers going so far as to render it with feathers. In fact, a huge amount of the focus appears to be on making it as faithfully realistic as possible. It's a core selling point, with a main menu encyclopedia of flora and fauna that's in the game, and the names of the experts that they've consulted. And whilst it was interesting, I think this just might be a case of mistaken identity on my part. It appears to be inspired not at all by multiplayer open-world survival games, but as a class-based fighting game called Primal Carnage from 2012 and Primal Carnage Extinction from 2015, and it is exclusively single player. There's talk about multiplayer maybe, but it's a stretch goal. Dinosaur survival game, yes, but no Twist B. Next competitor, Path of Titans. This one looked very much like the Isle. In fact, there seems to be a bunch of behind-the-scenes drama stuff. Something about this being the product of a former disgruntled employee, or something along those lines. I don't really know the details. I managed to make an anonymous donation sufficient enough to access their work-in-progress build, and it is very work-in-progress, at least when I tried it. There really wasn't much there to distinguish it from the Isle, and they seem to be following the exact path of berries in the wild and carnivores hunting the herbivores. So maybe Twist B. I'm going to be honest, after a couple of hours of searching on a populated server, I found nobody. Whether they'll lean into the ecosystem thing remains to be seen. For this one, it is simply too early to glean anything substantial. Next competitor, Day of Dragons. This one actually surprised me for all the wrong reasons. Do you remember when I said during the Daisy video essay that some companies will just set up and create mimics just to ride the trend? Yeah, that. In fact, a lot of people on YouTube seem to be calling it an outright scam. Oh dear, an asset flip, they claim. So this is where a developer buys the pre-made assets and then slings them together and then just sells it all immediately, without putting in any real effort. Whether or not that's the case, I'm not really interested. I only want to see if they are advancing ideas. They've got Twist A, a survival game where you don't play as a human, but that's it really. You just feed off these worms provided by the environment, and there's a ton of them. Twist B has flown completely over its head. Appropriately, I suppose. Finally, Beasts of Bermuda, and this is where things got interesting. It appears that the developers for Bermuda have put in a lot more design legwork. Rather than just simple berries for herbivores and meat for carnivores, Bermuda subdivides the PvE requirements into further categories and makes it so that certain species should target certain things for the right benefits, including one species of herbivore that has a totally unique food group, kelp. In addition, the carnivores get a similar treatment, with the distinction being made between meat, fish and carrion, with fresh meat only on the body downs, and carrion spawning all over the place naturally. Frustratingly though, as you can see in that description, despite flirting with Twist B, I don't think Bermuda really grasped it. There's an absolute abundance of spawn carrion, both on land and in the ocean. I had no trouble staying well fed and even got overweight, just eating the meat sprawled around me in the game world, and this was the highest population server I could find. The forcing of PvE requirements onto other players it isn't really there. The cat and mouse gameplay never crystallizes, it just remains optional. On asking people, I was told that eventually you can grow large enough that the carrion won't quite suffice. But from what I've gleaned, that could take quite some time. The figures that they were giving me were in weeks. If that's correct, that's mental. I don't think many players are going to see that. In the Isle, you're forced to start hunting players within the first, say, 2 to 3 hours, sometimes much less. It all depends on the species. Credit where it's due though, Beasts of Bermuda is exactly the sort of thing that makes me so excited when I try looking underneath the hood of game design. You can see ideas start to evolve. Many of the role-playing ideas that I praised Teutonic for doing, Bermuda puts in by default. There is a comfort system in which your health is affected by, say, mingling with carnivores, or going off solo as a herd animal in a storm. Hell, your dinosaur can just die by not behaving as it's supposed to, through debuffs that you ignore. Whereas on a role-playing server, you're just going to get a finger wagging from an admin. There is also the inclusion of flying dinosaurs and marine environments, which can radically change your perspectives and your challenges. It's almost like 3 survival maps that have been layered on top of each other: air, land, and sea, with even a subcategory on land, burrowers, who exist in their own little underground world of tunnels. Plenty of Minecraft memes on the subreddit there, unsurprisingly. Most of the other competitors have none of this. And finally, those weather events have been really beefed up. Storms will encourage you to hunker down or find caves. Tornadoes will make you leave the area. And the most amazing one, monsoons that will cause rising sea levels, letting the massive ocean predators cruise deep inland to find the desperate players clinging to ever-shrinking patches of soil. This is a fucking great idea. Effectively having one survival environment invade another one periodically. Alas, as much as I would love to praise it, I think Bermuda is always going to play second fiddle to the other competitors. The textures are really, really quite bad, as can be the audio. Listen to this dinosaur's tail, just listen to this stuff. Come on, there's like stop whip sound effect level here. The dinosaurs almost seem weightless in this engine. They glide and glitch over the terrain, which your camera clips through regularly. This footage that you're seeing right now, this isn't exaggerated. This isn't like some low-gravity server. This is just what I recorded while I was there. And with all the colour palettes being customized with these brightly coloured dinosaurs, it looks very, just cheaply made. Which really is a shame. It perhaps wouldn't be such a problem if its competitors didn't look like, well, this. So, it's a bit of a shame, but it seems to me that the competitors aren't really grasping the really innovative idea here, and it's very simple. It is and making a big player-driven ecosystem, one that all are a part of and none can escape. Hell, other developers, there's a lot more room here in this section of the market. You don't even have to do the dinosaur thing. You could easily have an open-world game where players are mammals surviving on the Serengeti, or plants and creatures breeding in plants, or even insects in some branches of the garden. Imagine having 200-odd players roaming around as bugs, turned monstrous by the change of scale and good audio design. You could have some players being snails, low speed, high armor, butterfly players flapping from flower to flower, spider players trying to eat them, and stick insect players that are... You know what, never mind. But still, player-run ecosystems. If developers play their cards right, it could be a wonderful sub-genre. And to wrap up, do you mind if I have a bit of a whinge? This final part of the video has been reworked a couple of times, because initially it was just the above. The Isle is doing something that feels fresh, that's nice, cut to credits. But as I've been putting this together, it's made me kind of grumpy. We've had like, what, almost 10 years of this as consumers, almost 10 years for developers to properly experiment with survival in a bunch of different directions, and very few feel as though they actually It's a market that consists of a whole lot of collecting loot from an open environment, stashing it into a player inventory, building convenient stacking system in storage containers, using weapons from a player inventory into rogue tiles somewhere on the corresponding numbers on the keyboard, nebulous PvP with other survivors, or chasing yet another just a game community, or just someone who likes to dabble with mod creation. then you can make something that stands drastically apart from the competition with just a little bit of tweaking in the right areas. You can make something that feels really like you.
Where'd he go?
I'm not sure if it's dead. Ran into the water. Duck swimming towards the crocodile. Yep, you need a panel.
Yep, shit, creek, without something. It's the croc. It has a hole. Don't look in front of you.
Look up to why does the screen flash purple? Bottom screen indicates that your torpor level is increasing. Where the fuck am I down here? What's going on? Right on my mouth and suddenly it fell unconscious. Kicked off it and then suddenly it slid away and everyone followed it. Because they were following the mammoth. I hope the mammoth is just like constantly sliding into the fucking ether. see Madame Mac. So now I've lost my fucking animals. Bloody mammoth just fell unconscious and slid away. Because everyone was following the mammoth, it freaking took them with it. Yeah, it just slid away and everyone chased after it. You have to create a track and it keeps track of where your fucking animals are. I'm gonna find this fucking forest. To burn the whole fucking thing down. Bruh. Mammoth, why'd you have to go unconscious? Why is that even a thing? Was it picking up frickin' torpor berries and kept eating? Female. Even female can get one flog. I hope the mammoth didn't just infinitely slide off all the way into the fucking ether. Because that would be very annoying. Because I didn't know where the fuck I was. Fucking way. fucking dark. Also, why does it have to be they follow the mammoth when I'm riding the mammoth? No, they should always follow me. Club. Eat it then. Come on. Wrap the saddle, and I could just make one. Let's turn it on. Be tamed already. Is it because its hunger is degrading too slowly? Eat! Fucking berries. Eat! Be tamed already. Still fuck asleep. Stupid thing. Well, be tamed then. Or is there some kind of other stipulation? Because you're unconscious. Why are you not eating? It's just anything. I was unconscious using narcotics and prime meat to tame it more efficiently. Narcoberries and raw meat also work. Keep a sharp lookout for other raptors that often come in groups. Why aren't you taming? Be hungrier. Eat the food. Change the settings so they get hungrier faster. Taming speed, structure down, water drain, food drain, start having food. Right. Be fucking hungry. The only reason I'm out here is because I wanted some fucking crystals. Because they're needed for bloody everything. We had to go to the polar region. But I was cold, so I was just fucking around. I just wanted to commute back home, but no, the mammoth had to fall unconscious and ping off somewhere, sliding down the hill. Raptor, will you tame already? You have food on you. Eat. There you go. Took fucking long enough. Yes. Right. Stone meat. Pretty sure I made a raptor saddle. Is that it? Raptor saddle. Circle. Look, there's my little cow. Well, the only reason I left the fucking base was to hunt crystals. But no, the cold had to kill me and then kill me. I freaking get lost. Wanted to commute back home, but no, the mammoth had to fall unconscious and all my animals were following it, not me, and it fucking slid down the hill, likely sliding off into the freaking border of the bloody world. Bugs in this game. Why can't your dinosaurs just have a... Here's everybody! Fuck! Right. Follow me! Not my bloody dinosaurs. Mammoth is still unconscious. Woman. Ellie. There. And I had to destroy the rock, which would have allowed me to get up to her. Fucking deal, Doug. My pig. Oh, stop. Smithy. Bloody turning circles. Why do I jump? Fucking. Between these fucking animals. Why is my jump so shit? Let me put me back in the fucking... Ugh. Climb on. Why are you still unconscious? Are you just constantly eating the fucking berries? You out of here. Stop eating torpor berries. Stimberries. Wake the fuck up! Wake up anytime soon? It's all going down. Right. What was it? Stop. Why are you still wanting to follow Scold? Thank you. Right. This is a ride. Right then. Raising your torpor. Follow it. Neil, the Megas. Skull gone. There's Skull. Stuck on. Torpor you know. Torpor values. Mammoth. Torpor. Torpor working on it. Most weapons inflict torpor over a period of 5 seconds. Getting stuck on things. Thing. Stumbled across it randomly. Get getting in the way. Crowding around me. She's stuck along because they're crowding around her. Ethereum. Behavior. Follow distance. Hide. Behavior. Follow distance. Hide. One o'clock. That's fine. There's some skulls somewhere. Please, get out of the fucking way, I'm a mammoth. She's gone. Jungle. There you go. Fucking Ankylosaurus go. Too fast for its own fucking good. Land!
The system has existed for eons. Considering all the variables, it has adapted well. Much like you, it has toiled to reach its goals. And it has overcome many obstacles. However, the scale is larger. The struggle is longer. In organic beings, age can slow reflexes and dull thought. Not so with the system. The speed and efficiency of its calculations are not in doubt. One could argue they're the problem. If a function has a 0.001% chance to cause an error, but it's only run a dozen times, an aberration is unlikely. But 1 trillion times? Then it's inevitable. More time, more errors. A drop turns to a trickle. A trickle to a flood.
Place it, not
as
on
I
the
said,
top.
Everything is finite. The system is no exception.
Where the fuck? We've left everyone else on the beach. Around here somewhere. The ocean, because she flung herself out here. Don't. Why does it immediately kick you off the pterosaur? Follow you, dick. Oh. Why must everything need fucking crystals? Why do crystals have to be in such a fucking piss-ass place? Why can't this idiot just let me fucking get on him? Oh, a lot of you. Don't fucking land. There for? Just fucking land! Christ, why are you guys such spastics? Let's gold. Bird. Stop. What are you doing over there? Fucking fudge muppets. Dozy ass bird. Alright, well, stop. You, it was behaviour, far distance, medium. Nope. Behaviour, already at medium. Let's go on, get out of the fucking water. If you can't, raise bollocks. Dog. Fucking land. Right. Right. This is Megatherium. Now, where's your husband? There he is. There you are. At least you reverse fire. Stop. You follow me. No, you stop. Right. Options. Name. Right. Behavior. Fucking. Bruh. Behavior. Thing. Hi. Everyone, follow me. Gold, slot. Oh. I told you. Follow me, idiot. I'll put the saddle on you because I'm a bit smithy. Stop getting stuck on shit, you idiot. Disobedient, he's a fucking namesake. It's difficult. It's not even. Oh, there he is. Right. Currently trying to make my way home with a lot of pets, but they keep getting stuck. Specifically these bloody megatheriums. Is that what they're called? Big fucking sloth.
I'm just putting GTA 5 on now.
No. Hopefully I'll be done soon. Sloths get stuck on everything. Pepsi?
Huh?
Was that a Pepsi? I heard you crush a can.
Fanta and lemon, one of two. So I've got 4 in the shed still.
By default, should be building straight. Jesus. Right. Wraith Montague Smythe. Cementing paste. Of course I guess that's not enough. Oh, that's enough. One. Fucking bloody magazine. Put it there. Right. Fibre, hide, and metal. Thatch. Your fibre. Don't have any metal on me. But I know you guys do. Let's go. There she So you... I'm going to put it on that other forge. The other freaking crafting table. So I need to make a forge as well. What are you doing? If you get it. Oh, go. Neil? No. I haven't got anything on you two. Woofy. No. Yeah. Right. Plenty around. Get off my crafting bench. Stop humping it, you bloody retard. Said stop. Right. Need to make a forge so I can smelt some metal, so I can make some fucking saddles. These giant fucking cave bear sloth fuckers. Just so we can stop being bloody retarded. Yeah. I just made two of them. Where'd they go? There you are. Refining forge. No ingots. Stack. Put some wood on you. There it is. We need more hide and cementing paste. Okay, I can make more. What do I need from you? Stone and shit. Like carrots. Stone. Spawn point. Check out the metal, not the metal bars. Right. Mammoth 7, no. Kyler 7, no. I can make plate armor? Black armor. Fiber, hide and metal.
Fucking RP again.
What, your wheel?
Yeah. Oh, the lucky wheel carries something called a Reaper. Goody gumdrops.
More bloody cementing paste. Seriously, what is with PS4 games that have text so fucking small? Do you have any character on here? No. Alpha Tyrannosaurus T? Yeah, I killed an Alpha T. I think on the PC version, trilobites spawn fucking constantly. But here, it's supposed to be around the coast. He's got some keratin. No, not one. Don't just be keratin in you. Two. There's stone on you. Yes. Yes, you do have stone on you. I wish there was a way to faster transfer. Rather than holding X on every fucking item. Fuck me. Fucking shit. Oh, fucking stone. No. I am perfect Christmas. Cement paste now. No, I think fucking 7 more cementing paste. Bruh. Yeah. Okay, the axe gets more keratin. Or whatever. Didn't know this was different order. Primitive made a full saddle. There's not even one of you with a saddle. Bruh. Cute. Nice. Here's another fucking turtle when you want keratin. So on the PC version, around the coast, I'm always getting trilobites scuttling through my base. And here, I've not seen one. Which is annoying because trilobites are a really good source of keratin. Titan, whichever one it is. Good old rather nasty massacre of factory. Give me another turtle. Dinosaur spawns. I think Doug. Does he have some keratin on him? Who is Doug? Battery before I run out. Where's Doug gone? I'm always losing fucking dinosaurs. He's fucking so spazzy with his flying. Yeah, bit of keratin. Would have liked some more. Mule skull, there is the wolf. Where's that damn bird gone? You can just ride a dire without needing a saddle. Like a theory. Thank you for your time. Shoulder button. Shoulder button. Swat. Does it specify here what kind of food he ate? Yeah, he wasn't regenerating because he didn't have any food. Right. Food. You got food? You got plenty. You got food? Yeah. You got food? Yeah. You got food? Yeah. That's all fed. Fucking Canada go. Stupid bloody idiot bird. Last I recall seeing him, he was at the coast. I'm at the coast. That one. Take your freaking time about it. Alright. Don't know why you had a GPS thing. Dozy ass bird. Who's there? Is not set to follow. No, I'm watching my own stream to find out where my bloody Pteranodon went. Stupid, because of the world settings, all my creatures are like almost uncontrollably fast. And he basically just widest fucking turning circles. Last time I saw him here, he's stuck on a fucking rock. No, you have to put a freaking tracker on them. That's when everyone's in the sea. Yeah. He's flying around me when I was riding Scold. left him there. Named Kylie. So he should be where all the others are. Oh, I thought I saw a name tag. Bloody Bloom. Oh yeah, I've got 2 Megatheriums, Raptor, Wolf, Hanky, and you. So where the fuck is Doug gone? Unless he died while I was going over to pee. Doubtful. Thought he was up there in a tree for a second. That's a time. I was just looking at the Megatherium. Didn't get any message like, "Oh, your dog has died." Seriously, where'd he go? Unless he's further on ahead. Oh, there you are. What are you doing all the way over here, you dipshit? Right. Where am I? I'm here. And the whole reason I'm in this region is to get some fucking crystal. Fucking take a dump. Right. Everyone stay here. I need me some fucking crystals. And the best place they spawn is up near that fucking mountain, but where? Because if they're in fucking caves, I'm gonna be annoyed. Why do those flints look different colours? Those look darker, they're lighter. Why do I always pick up so much fucking flint? What's flint even used for? Alarm clock, Arthur plural saddle, baker's oven, big bonfire, big campfire, brazier, primitive plus, brick half paver, brick paver campfire, compass cooking pot. I need expansions for flint to actually be worth anything. The fucking flint is just crap, I don't need it. Fuck, Skull's got a lot of metal on it. Alpha
Simmons list. Today I've got Feltzer, Jackal, F620, the Super Diamond, and the Ricotto. I saw the Ricotto at the casino. Right, so I want the Super Diamond. Or Feltzer.
And she was just animating. Bruh. Alright, I think I can call it a quits there. Call it a quits. Because the whole reason I was fucking playing... my main goal was not to blow up, but was to fucking get some fucking crystals. Because several recipes, I need crystals. Problem is, I couldn't fucking find any. Went to the bloody mountains where they more commonly spawn. I froze to death twice. So I had to get myself some fucking fur clothes and all that bullshit. It's like, I just want some fucking crystals.
Crystal meth, is it?
No, just flat out crystals. The chances they're all spawning fucking caves. Pain in the arse. Hey, I'll be joining you in a moment.